A drunken tourist with a soap gun thought he could humiliate a Buckingham Palace guardsman, spraying soapy water to force a reaction. But the guard's swift, silent response turned the prank into a shocking spectacle, leaving the crowd cheering and the tourist utterly humiliated. What happened next will surprise you. But before we dive into this incredible story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. We share the untold stories, secrets, and traditions of the British Guards every day. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Guardsman William Stone stood motionless at his post outside Buckingham Palace, a symbol of unwavering discipline against the vibrant chaos of tourist commotion. The crowd bustled around him, snapping selfies, tossing crumbs to the pigeons, and chattering loudly about the history they barely remembered from the tour guide's script. To William, it was just another routine day in the long parade of visitors treating Buckingham Palace like their personal theme park. Then, through the sea of cameras and chatter, he appeared. Bob, the quintessential loud American tourist, made his entrance like a character in a sitcom no one asked for. His bright red t-shirt screamed, "Freedom rules," as if to remind everyone of his self-appointed role as the hero of the day. Cargo shorts, a MAGA cap, tilted at an angle that suggested zero self-awareness, and the swagger of a man who considered a six-pack of lager a balanced breakfast completed his look. But the pièce de résistance? A bright blue, bubble-shaped water gun, absurdly small for his adult hands, giving him the air of a tipsy toddler who'd wandered into the wrong setting. He wasn't alone. His partner in chaos, a woman in a bedazzled "I Love London" hoodie, giggled beside him, her laughter a mix of drunken amusement and second-hand embarrassment. Bob turned to her, raising the toy gun as if it were a medieval sword. "Watch this," he declared, his voice loud enough to turn heads in the crowd. "I'm going to make this stiff." Bob wasted no time launching his performance, strutting forward with all the bravado of a man who'd convinced himself he was the life of the party. The bubble gun in his hand, comically small, was held aloft like a pistol in an old Western duel. His chest puffed out, his grin widened, and his voice rang out for everyone to hear. "Hey, mate, let's see if you're as tough as they say." A dramatic pause, the kind he imagined would make the crowd lean in, followed. Then, with an exaggerated motion, he pulled the tiny trigger. A single, pitiful stream of soapy water arced through the air and landed squarely on the toe of Guardsman William Stone's impeccably polished black boot. The effect was immediate. The crowd collectively gasped, not because the act was impressive, but because the audacity was. "Who does that?" one mother whispered to another, shielding her child as though stupidity might be contagious. Bob, however, was unfazed. In fact, he was delighted. His loud guffaw echoed across the square as he raised the toy gun in triumph. "Bullseye!" he crowed, spinning to face his companion, whose forced laughter now sounded more like a strangled cough. William remained frozen, his gaze fixed somewhere above the horizon, his face a portrait of indifference. Internally, however, his patience was doing cartwheels. "Great, another comedian. Can't wait to see Act 2. His boot, now streaked with soap, gleamed ironically under the sun. Bob took the silence as encouragement. Emboldened, he began hopping side to side, firing off erratic bursts of soapy water at the guardsman's boots and lower uniform. His movements were cartoonish, his cackling incessant, like a bad sitcom character come to life. The crowd grew louder. Phones came out, recording the scene from every angle. "Is he allowed to do that?" a child asked, tugging on his mother's sleeve. She pursed her lips, shaking her head. "No, sweetie, he's just being rude." Still, William didn't move. His rifle remained at his side, his expression as stoic as ever. But inside, a single thought simmered. This clown thinks he's hilarious. Let's see how long that lasts. At William's feet, a small puddle of soapy water had begun to form, shimmering mockingly. Bob, oblivious to the brewing storm, danced closer, clearly enjoying his moment in the spotlight. "Come on, mate," he shouted, voice dripping with mockery. "Crack a smile, will ya? Or is smiling extra?" The crowd shifted. Some laughed nervously, others murmured disapproval. And William? He remained motionless, the perfect contrast to the chaos unfolding in front of him. But behind that unshakable exterior, his legendary patience ticked closer to its limit. With a subtle, deliberate movement, William adjusted his stance. To the untrained eye, it was merely a shift of weight, but for those paying close attention, it was a signal that something was about to happen. The guardsman's ceremonial rifle, held firmly at his side, seemed almost alive as he gripped it tighter. Bob, emboldened by the lack of verbal response, took a bold step forward and unleashed a full spray directly at William's chest. This time, however, the guardsman reacted. With lightning speed, he pivoted, causing the water to miss him entirely, and instead hit a tall, well-dressed British gentleman standing behind him. The gentleman gasped, his gray three-piece suit now streaked with soap suds. The crowd erupted into laughter and cheers. Bob, realizing what had happened, froze in panic. "Oh, sorry, mate. Didn't see you there." The man gave Bob a withering glare before turning to William and tipping his bowler hat. "Well played, sir," he said with a smirk. As the laughter subsided, Bob's confidence wavered. Sensing his moment of glory slipping away, he turned back to the guardsman and shouted, "Come on, mate, say something. Don't just stand there like a mannequin." William finally moved. He leaned ever so slightly forward, his voice calm and cutting like a blade. "Sir," he said, his British accent razor-sharp, "you've achieved the remarkable feat of embarrassing yourself on 2 continents." The crowd roared with laughter and applause. Bob's face flushed red as he staggered back, suddenly aware of the dozens of phones capturing his humiliation. Let's go, honey," he mumbled to his companion, who was already walking away, shaking her head in disbelief. As the crowd began to disperse, William straightened his stance and returned to his post, as calm and composed as ever. Internally, however, he allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction. Another day, another victory for tradition. And as Bob disappeared into the distance, leaving a trail of soapy footprints, William couldn't help but think, God save the Queen and her guards from idiot. If you enjoyed this story, leave a like and let us know in the comments which guard tradition you'd like us to cover next. See you in the next video.